What's up, and welcome to Two Balls, One Puck, a podcast talking about the Buffalo Bills, Sabres, and New York Yankees. My name is Tommy Gerasi, and I am here with my two brothers, Jacob and Joey. We're going to get to some introductions on this fine Sunday evening, and I'll kick it over to my brother on my right first. That's Joey. So, Joey, what's up, dude?
Not too much, brother. It's a busy weekend, a lot going on, but sun was shining, and so I can't be mad about that. Just spent some good time with our family celebrating Father's Day. So to all you fathers out there listening, happy Father's Day. And to all those non-fathers out there listening, tell somebody you love happy Father's Day or happy late Father's Day. So it was a good day, good weekend, and some not so great stuff going on for one of the sports teams that we love and will be talking about. But, you know, it's a long season, so got some good stuff to talk about today. And
It is a long season.
It's a very long season.
But we're like halfway through the season.
Yeah, it's not early anymore.
We're talking about the Yankees.
So, talking about the Yankees, yep. Rough stretch right now for the Yanks. But we'll get into that in a little bit. And there are things to be excited and happy about. And one of those things is getting to record a podcast with my other brother, Jacob. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing. I have been introduced third again.
As you will.
I'm going to be used to it. I'm just letting you all know I'm not used to. Wait. You also have to be used to me complaining about it because I'm going to be complaining about it.
It's going to get old real quick.
It really doesn't even matter that much. It's just kind of funny to be able to be slightly annoying as a little brother. Even though I do myself have a younger brother. So I'm not the youngest brother, just younger than the two of you. We're looking at an interesting ep today. We'll dive on into each of the teams as normal. We're going to kind of do a bit of a game section for the Bills because right now the Buffalo Bills season is maybe at an all-time low
point. Yeah,
like this might be the couple of weeks of like the lowest Bills conversation. Sabres, same thing. We just kind of have a interesting conversation, a couple player convos. Joey has a story to tell us about the Sabres that we'll get into that we can kind of highlight tonight. And
saw the other guy that comes down today as well.
Really?
Yeah, didn't talk.
Big twofer.
What?
Yeah, didn't talk.
Well, that's a teaser. And the Yankees, as if you're following the teams, have the biggest conversation point. As of my time of speaking, it is the middle of the 8th inning of the third game of the series against the Boston Red Sox.
You said Buffalo because they're currently wearing
Buffalo Bison.
their blue and yellow
Yeah,
City
they are.
Connect uniforms.
And they are losing the third game of the series in which they've lost the first two games. So that's all we're going to dive into today. But Tommy, you have something you want to say about the Sabres before we get into the Sabres, or are we going right to the Bills?
Before the Sabres. Oh, you just mean do I have something to say about the Sabres before the Bills?
Yeah, because are we doing the Sabres talk first, Bills talk first? What are we thinking, guys?
No, let's just get the Bills talk out of the way because it's short and sweet. Because
Jake's got a little fun game set up for us,
I do have a fun game.
Yeah, so that's a great way to kick it off.
I mean, like they mentioned, things in Bills land right now pretty quiet.
Yeah.
I think the most Bills content that I've seen are just funny memes based on Josh Allen's Madden cover. And one of the things that made me laugh is that they said that Madden's going to have the last piece of his face mask be a downloadable content extra.
That's
so if you want the last bar on his
$10.
face mask, $10.
$10.
So I thought that
this is
made
not
me
a
laugh,
real conversation, but Josh Allen did say that he could have done more to help Stephon Diggs this past year and hopes to this year. So not a real conversation. We touched on it last week.
Yeah, definitely.
That was sad.
Well, I know Allen was, in general, I mean, we're on Bills talk now, but in general, I think Allen was a little disappointed in his, himself last year and thinks he could do better. And obviously, I think most professional athletes kind of have that mentality. Even if they do a great job, I want to do better. I can be better. And, Bills fell short last year, and we saw Allen with some rough games and some rough stretches, battling some injuries. But, that's a good point, Jacob.
Yeah, the only thing with Bills that matters right now is that they announced their training camp date. So that's quite literally. I mean, we could continue to go in circles and discuss the upcoming season for the Bills, but that is still 3 months away, 2.5 months away. We're 2 months away from even preseason games with the Bills, essentially. So, like, we're kind of too early to talk about it. If we didn't have two other teams to discuss, then yeah, that's what we'd be doing. But anyway, the Bills training camp is again going to be in Rochester on July 26th. It's starting at, where do they hold it? What's it called? St. John's Fisher or something like that. It's a complex. I probably could have just looked it up before I said that, but I know it's in Rochester.
That's enough. I think that's enough.
That's enough.
You just go to Rochester, look around for a bunch of Bills people, and you go to training camp.
It's a big deal. There's always cool photos that come out during training camp because the fans pack training camp. And
so much fun.
I don't know. I wonder how many other teams pack their training camps. Probably a few, but it is pretty cool to see Bills Mafia continuously, especially recently, pack their training camps because expectations are high.
And also like preseason games. I mean, I know some of my friends go up there and they tailgate the preseason games, and some of them are packed. So, Bills Mafia is legit, and the blue and red blood is running thick, and Bills. They're really exciting. So, I mean, we have a lot to be excited for. So, why wouldn't you want to go see them toss around, even if it's training camp?
Yeah.
So,
just fun to be in the atmosphere. But I think, honestly, we're going to try to play this game, a little bit of an interesting thing.
Game it up.
And then we'll have more. This might be, like we said, the lowest amount of actual Bills news we can have for this episode, maybe the next couple. But after a few weeks, we'll be getting into it. But
unless Alan has some relationship changes, and then Tommy will be just invested in something. Unless Alan, something comes out where Alan's relationship things.
Oh, with Haley.
I mean, who knows? But
what are the chances
that's what we're
shows up in a
saying.
Marvel
Bills news could be pretty quiet for a bit, so maybe that would spark a little bit of energy into the Bills talk. So we'll see.
Yeah, we could do that.
His dating life is like top 3 priority in yours, I think. So.
That is true.
Yeah. Did I tell the story on episode Zip about
you did not,
Jenny
no.
meeting?
Go ahead.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
You did not.
Okay. So my wife Jenny, who, shout out, love you. She's not gonna listen to this, so I could, no, but she might.
Leave it there, Tom.
Yeah,
leave it there. That was a good. Yep.
I've been
love
married
you.
long enough. I should know.
Nope. Love you.
Anyway, my
That's
wife
great.
Jenny, she was up in Buffalo. This was probably, I don't know, a couple of years ago or something like that. Maybe 2-3 years ago, or pre-COVID, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, she was getting her eyebrows done up in Buffalo, and she started shooting the breeze with a girl up there who was also getting her eyebrows done. And this girl asked my wife about football and if she liked football and all that stuff. And this is Jenny telling me the story, recounting. She's like, she told this girl, no, not really. I don't watch football. And then, oh, okay. Well, that's okay. That was the end of the conversation. Well, lo and behold, my wife finds out that later on that was Josh Allen's girlfriend at the time that she was talking to. And when she told me that, I was like, oh.
She had the chance to have at least a conversation, maybe of something else.
Probably not, but I always, and to this day, just as an inside joke, I continue to rag on Jenny about, you ruined my chances to have a relationship with Josh Allen.
Yeah, what if she was going to invite you guys out to a double date?
You should have been
for dinner or something.
You should have been very nice to her, and you could have swapped girl stories, however that goes.
Do you want Josh Allen
compliment each other's
stories?
eyebrows?
Compliment each other's eyebrows, and then one thing leads to the next, and hey, my husband plays for the Bills. You want a couple of tickets? And then the next thing you know,
Tom, he's going to be coming to Christmas dinner at your house.
I'm in the back VIP room of the Bills games. Josh Allen comes in. He's like, "What's up, man?" I just my girlfriend said that your wife's really cool and we should just hang out. But
the smile, the smile on your face right now is so pure and genuine. That I really wish that could have come to fruition for you, Tom.
But I dream.
You can dream.
I dream.
You can dream.
Jacob,
speaking of dreaming,
let's do the game.
Okay.
Let's dream up a dream team.
Yeah, that's what
Bills roster.
So
that was a great transition, Joe.
Cheesy,
but good.
Okay.
Better than transition. You were just going to start insulting your wife again, and that's not what we need.
I love my wife so much. Go, Jacob.
Hi, Jenny. So
the way you phrased that.
Okay, so here's what I did.
Me too.
It's just what she said once. Here's what I did. I have, for those who are listening and not watching, it'll just be give me your your best attention because I'm going to read some stuff that will set up the game. So what I've done is I've taken 5 positions of football positions. I have quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and then just 2 general defense positions because when you start separating all the defensive positions, there's too many it's just 2 defensive.
It's unrealistic.
Yeah. So 3 offensive, 2 defensive positions. So we have tiers. We have 5 tiers of these players. So in the first tier, which we're going to call the $1 tier, we have 1 player at each of these positions. 1 quarterback, 1 running back, 1 wide receiver, and 2 defensive players. These are from Bills history, at all-time Bills players, right? Then we have the same exact thing in the $2 tier, the $3 tier, the $4 tier, and the $5 tier. Each tier has 5 players, 1 at each position. The $5 tier is the most expensive tier, and that is where the best players from each position, the number 1 player from each position, according to, now I want to really be careful when I say this, all of these rankings are according to what Football Reference calls approximated value. And that is their stat for, this is the definition, the attempt to attach a single number to every player's value since 1960.
Regardless of their position, era.
Yep, so it's a stat that attempts to take all of the other stats into account and say, this is our number for their approximated value. So this is not my ranking, this is approximate value according to Football Reference. That is what we're going off of. So we all have a total of $15 to spend.
Okay.
So we have $15.
1 of each position do you have to select?
You have to take 1 of each position.
All right.
There's a $5, a $4, a $3, a $2, and a $1 tier, which all adds up to $15. So theoretically, you could take 1 player from each tier, right, in each position, and then you would up to 15. Or you could take 2 5s
And a couple of...
You'd have to have at least...
And you'd have to sacrifice some money. Or, whatever it is. You could take 5 3s. So we all have $15 to spend. And what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to read down the list just so people know who we are picking from.
Can I interject?
Yeah, for sure.
So is these here the tiers and who falls into these tiers? Are these tiers judged by what what the reference said? Approximate value?
Yep.
Okay.
So
because I'm curious, looking at some of these names here, I'm like, wait, he's in the $3 tier?
Exactly.
But that's just the okay, just wanted to double check that.
Right, and longevity plays a huge role into this because you could have a monster 1 season, but your value to the team overall is not going to be that of someone who's slightly above average for 10 seasons.
Got it. Do you think you should just do like all of 1 position and just say like who's the person of that tier?
Sure, that works. Yeah. So in quarterbacks we have $5. I'm going to go 5 down. Jim Kelly at 1. Not at 1, at $5. The top tier. So Jim Kelly, Joe Ferguson, Josh Allen, Jack Kemp, and Ryan Fitzpatrick are our quarterbacks from 5 to 1.
Doug Flutie.
This is not my ranking.
I know. I'm just
not my ranking. Thurman Thomas, O.J. Simpson.
Lawson?
Not helping, Tom.
All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Thurman Thomas, O.J. Simpson, Fred Jackson, Joe Cribbs, and LaShawn McCoy are our running backs.
Shady. I miss Shady. Did we just say Shady at the
same
time?
exact time? That was funny.
Oh, me a Coke.
Andre Ree, Eric Moulds, Lee Evans, Albert Dupe. This is a name that I'm calling myself out a little here. I was not familiar with this name, and based on his stats, I probably should be. So if I'm mispronouncing this, is it Dubenian? Albert? Just a name I'm not familiar with. I probably should be. And I just didn't want people to mispronounce it and people to say, like, you... Yeah, I'm just getting out ahead of it. I don't know how to pronounce that last name.
There's players out there that you don't
And Frank Lewis. And then our 10 defensive players, obviously Bruce Smith and Kyle Williams are, from honestly, I think pretty unanimously 2 of the better defensive Bills of all time.
Well, Bruce Smith, never mind.
According to approximated value, Bruce Smith is the number 1 Bill of all time.
I mean, he's the NFL tackles or sacks leader.
It's amazing. So, Bruce Smith, Kyle Williams, Mike Stratton, Cornelius Bennett, Darryl Talley, Phil Hansen, Joe Devlin, Tom Cisak, Butch Bird, and
Butch
Butch Bird, and Aaron Scoble.
But
So again, those were the names you read off were starting in the $5 category. The next names were the $4,
Yep,
then the
going
$3, then the $2, then the $1.
Exactly.
My name's Butch Bird.
So I hope this all makes sense to everyone. I think it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah. It'll just be fun. Yeah.
All right. So
I don't think we should argue our cases too much.
Who gets
here.
first
We can
pick?
try.
Yeah, I don't think there's too much of it. We can kind of.
Yeah, we can. Are we going to write our teams down and compare who's got the best roster at the end of this?
That's the goal.
Point?
Yeah,
we'll
that's
post
the goal
it.
for
we'll
sure.
post it on social media.
Yeah,
if you
check
wanna-
out our socials.
Yeah,
Vote
see
who has
who's
the
got
best roster.
Yeah,
best
follow
roster.
us. Yeah, cool.
Okay,
All right,
you wanna
how do
throw
we
a
just
5 spot on
Jacob,
it,
Are
too?
you participating?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, good. Well, I don't know.
Do you want to bet on this?
No,
$5.
I already won my pickleball.
So
money,
earlier today, Jacob also reminded us that when he bets on things, he only does them in increments of $10. We were
Correct.
playing pickleball as a family, and we wanted to throw a few dollars on the game. And Jacob said, "Well, it has to be in increments of 10. I don't bet $3 or $5 or $7,"
Just
which
to-
is an interesting note.
And just now that we're talking about pickleball, really quick, my brother Michael and I, who's not here, just may or may not have, but definitely, absolutely obliterated both Jacob and Joey.
Well,
on
we
a
were
team.
playing left-handed and didn't want to tell.
Just-
You guys
not
literally
true.
didn't know we were playing left-handed the
Wow,
whole time.
The
that's
entire
so
game.
Funny. That's so funny. So stupid. We
There's
won
recordings of it. We were
11-1.
playing lefty.
We won 11-1.
Check the vids.
Okay.
We played lefty.
All right. Well, we won 11-1.
That's
Congratulations.
fine.
Did you bring your stickers today?
I mean,
No.
when you,
I think
I
Tommy-
mean, when you go and you play a game, like if the other team says like, "Oh, we got some guys hurt," you don't. You
Yeah,
don't
but
care.
That's fine.
we didn't bat, so we
You'll give a
decided just to
flying
play
No,
crap.
left-handed.
and I
'cause
we also, if we would have won, wouldn't have brought it up on the podcast. So
Whatever.
moving on, Jake, do you wanna go first? How do you want to do this? Do you want to
Are
shoot?
we snaking? Or are we going? I think a snake's fair.
A snake definitely makes more sense.
Oldest to youngest, obviously.
I put the work in, so I'll go first.
Okay,
No, we have to do a random number. Come on.
let's just do oldest to youngest. I think that's fair.
I agree, youngest
You
to
know-
oldest. So I will be taking.
No,
I spent an hour on this.
come on. We have to do a number.
All right, evens and odds. The odd person out
Okay,
gets to pick.
we have
first.
to say our number 1 through 10. Zeros don't count. Wait, should they count?
It doesn't matter. There's enough numbers.
Just
I
pick
know.
a random.
All right, everyone pick 1 or 2. Ready?
No, look.
3, 2, 1,
2.
1.
One.
Okay, Joey goes first.
Hilarious.
And then who goes second?
Ready, Tommy? 3, 2, 1, 2.
Two.
Wait, that doesn't make sense.
No,
There's
it
two
makes
of us.
no sense.
All right, rock, paper, scissors.
I'm gonna pick.
3, 2, 1, scissors. 3, 2, 1, paper. 3, 2, 1, rock. We just tied 3 times.
Yeah, we did.
3, 2, 1, I
win.
lost.
So it
Paper,
goes
rock.
Joey, me, Jacob. That's the order.
And
then,
we're snaking
and then
it.
Jacob, me, Joey, and so on and so forth.
I actually would prefer to have the turnaround in this draft.
Oh, Joey's taking the turnaround?
I do
Oh,
want the
you're not taking
turnaround.
the first
No,
pick?
I get to choose. I want the turn.
I will take the first pick.
Okay.
I will be selecting the second pick.
Okay.
All right, with the first pick, I'm going to spend my $5 make me holla right out of the gate, and I am going to take Bruce Smith.
Who's keeping track of this on the sheet?
Well, let's just highlight them in different colors.
That's
I'll
perfect.
be orange.
That's really smart, actually.
What just happened. All right, so
I'll be
Tommy.
orange.
Good,
I'm taking
good
Bruce Smith because, it's quite simply, he is the all-time NFL sacks leader.
pick. Congratulations.
I think it's a great pick.
I mean, defensively, there are other great quarterbacks and running backs on this list that I know I can scoop up, and this is the strategy here. But I know that defensively, he is, in my opinion, the unanimous number 1 selection. So
I would agree.
That's my pick there. I'm taking Bruce.
All right.
All right, so now it's me. And this is difficult. I mean, just for those listening, I'm in between Jim Kelly and Thurman Thomas. I think it's fair to say that those are the two. I'm going to go with...
I know Andre Reed has molds in receiving yards, just receiving yards, I assume by a lot. I would assume.
I have those numbers up, yes, but I'm going Thurman Thomas.
It's a good pick.
$5 spent.
Okay.
Joey, do you know
That's
what
a
you're
good
doing
pick.
here?
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, those were two of them that I wanted in the turn. But I think I'm just going to go off right ahead with my first pick for $3 and grab Josh Allen.
So that's, yeah. I was going to try
I mean,
to sneak
obviously,
that
Joe
out.
Ferguson for $4, but I think that's a good pick. So I'm going to take Josh Allen, and then I am going to spend $5 and take Andre Reed. So I've got my QB and wide receivers locked up today, and
right.
I've got $8 spent. So Tommy,
Now
Oh,
my
back to
turn,
Jake,
my
snake
turn,
it,
my
snake
turn.
it.
Oh,
Thank
yeah.
you.
Yep.
I think that I think this is a sneaky. think this is sneaky. I'm going from the $4 defensive tier. I am going with Cornelius Bennett. Some of his stats are just very impressive.
You're taking Cornelius Fudge.
From Smack.
Alrighty, Jake.
Tommy.
Okay, so I'm looking at that $4 tier. I'm thinking about blowing it all on defense. I'm thinking about blowing it all on defense right now and just having an elite defense. But the juice is still loose out there. And in his prime, OJ was something special. So I'm kind of between.
Wow.
Do you like orange juice?
I love orange juice.
Pulp or no pulp?
No pulp.
Same, bro.
I don't want to eat
Who
a
eats
liquid.
I've actually not. As I've gotten older, I've grown to enjoy pulp more.
Oh my gosh.
No,
Tommy.
not enjoy. I shouldn't have said
Do you
that.
eat cream of wheat too?
I should have said I've learned to. What was that? Do you eat cream of wheat?
I actually am a big cream of wheat fan.
I used to be.
Whatever.
I love it.
Okay, hold on. Give me 1 second here. I think that
You've had
Do you
2
think
minutes.
maybe if I hit you, you'll make up your mind?
I've made my decision.
You have 2 picks, Tom, also, so.
Let's go, bud.
Oh, I do?
yeah,
It's a
it's a
snake,
wrap.
bro.
Okay. Well, if I do that one and then I do that one,
No one knows what you're talking about.
Joey, shut up. Stop whistling into the microphone. Okay. All right, hold on. I'm just doing math.
How about you stop
10.
holding on?
11,
Math is hard.
and then
All right. For those listening to this, I hope you guys are enjoying the.
All right, I got it.
Oh, thank.
all right. I will be taking. I'm doing it.
Great.
No one knows.
Do it,
No one knows what
please.
you're doing.
I'm taking OJ, running back, $4.
Okay.
Okay.
And your
And?
second pick?
Yes. And I will dip into. Okay, so I've spent. Wait. Okay, I've spent $9. No, yeah, I've spent $9. Okay, so that means I'm going to take Lee Evans, wide receiver, $3.
Okay.
Alrighty. So
Sorry that
means-
took so long. I had to do the math. This is mean
Yeah,
something. to
and
me.
Lee Evans for $3. That puts Tommy at $12.
So I have $3 to spend with 2 picks left.
Yep.
Okay.
All
Yeah.
right, Jakey
I have $6 to spend right now,
for 3 picks.
and I have 3 picks. So I am
What are
going
we
to.
thinking, buddy?
I'm going to spend.
5 on the quarterback, 1 on someone, and
then
then
miss it.
scratch the last.
You know what? It's not that bad of an
I don't
idea.
need a wide receiver.
Speaking of wide receivers, I am going to take. I'm going to take Frank Lewis. It's from the $1 tier.
Okay.
There's obviously a couple wide receivers that I like more, but I need one $1 tier,
Mhm.
and I think that he's the most respected name on this $1 tier list.
Okay.
That I need.
That's fair. That's very fair. Alrighty, so I am up twice again now. So I've got my QB and wide receiver locked down. And, you guys keep saying it. Defense wins championships. We've talked about this before.
Ooh.
Do it.
But I don't. You know what? I'm going to go for it.
Mm-hmm.
I am. You know why I'm going to? Because the $1 category has some really good football players. in it.
Well, these are the 5
clearly,
best
yep,
Bills of all
clearly.
time in each position, so
Clearly.
they're going to be good.
Yep. But you know what? I just changed my mind again, and I'm going to do the $3. I'm taking Fred Jackson.
Yeah.
I'm taking Fred Jackson. Yeah, $3. I think that's a good pick. And so.
So your
I
offense, Joe,
have-
is looking real good.
I know, and I've got 4 to spend on my 2 defensive players. And you know what I'm going to do is take Phil Hansen.
Okay. That was going to be mine.
Yep.
That was going to be mine.
I like my team so far. I really do.
Well, I am in a bit of a conundrum for anyone following because I need a quarterback, and I can only pick a quarterback from the $3 or $2 tier. $2 tier because I don't have enough money for anything else. Oh, I could do. You know what? I've changed my mind. I'm spending $4. Oh, wait, I don't need one because you guys both have quarterbacks. No, you don't. Yes, you do. No, you don't. I'm spending $4 on Joe Ferguson as my quarterback.
It's a good pick, Jake. That's a good pick. All right. Tommy.
All right, 2 picks to round it out.
Finish this off, brother.
Okay. I will be taking...
The mic's behind you, my friend.
Yeah. I will be taking... I'm taking Tom Sestak for defense, $2. That puts me at 14. So, and the reason I'm doing this is because in 1964, Tom Sestak had led the league in sacks with 15.5, though no sacks prior to 1982 are not official.
Hey, man, I led the league in
the most
sacks.
unofficial sacks.
Self-proclaimed all the stats back then.
But he had 52 career
12 or
sacks
15
in
or something like
96
that.
games.
All right.
At a couple of TDs. And then with my last pick, I'm taking the bearded beauty himself. I'm taking Fitzmagic for my quarterback.
All right.
One data.
Not bad. All right, Jake, you
There's my team. I'm done.
finish off that roster, my friend.
Yeah, I am going with... I have to take a $1 defensive player.
Yep.
I'm going to go with... I'm going Aaron Scoble. I think a couple of his stats just look a little more shiny than Bird. So I'm going Scoble.
Very good.
All right.
All right, and with the last pick, my second defensive player, Joe Devlin.
Yeah.
I like that pick
Yeah,
a lot.
that's a
So
good
we are going to end that there, and we will be posting our squads on the great World Wide Web. So check the socials. You can see our updated and final rosters for this, and let us know which roster you think is best. And I'm sure we will argue about it a lot.
Right now,
So,
quick look, I think Joey won.
I
personally.
definitely won. And
His offense is really good.
Yeah. So, I definitely
Jim
won,
Kelly
but
went undrafted.
Bruce
He
Smith is
did.
getting to Josh Allen every time, and OJ's going to tear through all your guys' defensive lines. So
Well, we don't have lines. We just have 2 players. So.
I don't care.
OJ's running. He doesn't have a Bronco. So, moving away, that's a great draft there. So, good job. We'll post the rosters on the socials. But again, like we said, Bills talk pretty light right now.
Yeah,
So,
let's cut it right there and move to hockey talk and the Buffalo Sabres.
Also, not too much to get into tonight.
Not at all.
Not
We
too
have
much.
big stuff
Because-
maybe the next couple days,
Yeah,
but
so-
for tonight, not too much to get into.
Here's
Especially with what just happened on the baseball diamond.
brutal.
Yeah.
So,
So
let's
here's
talk Sabres.
here's the game plan for the Sabres for the next week and a half or so, because the NHL entry draft is Wednesday the 28th, which we plan on recording an episode that night. So we'll be kind of, when the draft is happening, we'll be kind of live. Maybe.
Kind of live.
Oh, well, it will be recording. So there's that. So anyway, the game plan is for our next episode, which will be Wednesday, to do a week before the draft, is to do basically a draft preview for the Sabres. And we'll discuss, what we think their needs are, what picks they have, guys that they could potentially get, and how we like those guys, blah, blah, blah. And then next Sunday, a week from today, we plan on, and the following Wednesday, which is the day of the draft, we plan on splitting up those 2 episodes to do a off-season preview of the Sabres.
Yeah. For the Sabres portions, we are going to split up the off-season preview.
Correct.
Yeah.
We'll do, offense, forward preview, and then we'll take, defense and goalies, and we'll just look at the free agent market, trade market, what the Sabres need, what are realistic, options, blah, blah, blah. And then because July 1st, Saturday, the first free agency in the NHL opens, and then obviously we'll have another episode recorded on July 2nd, which is a Sunday, and we'll kind of be able to recap. So that's the plan with the Sabres. So we're not going to get too far into them right now. The only thing I would like to discuss tonight is the rumors of reports of Victor Olofsson potentially being traded. And this was something that came out a few days ago, where Olofsson's camp said that they have not requested a trade. Victor Olofsson has not requested a trade, though they are expecting a trade to happen this offseason. So the discussion I want to have with them, and we can keep this pretty high and tight, pretty brief, is that Olofsson, people seem to have a problem with Olofsson, and I can understand from the defensive side of the game, and some of his defensive metrics haven't added up very well over the last couple of years, but I still fail to see why any fans really hated on Victor Olofsson, because when I look at his baseline stats from this last season, Olofsson put up 28 goals.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, he has a cap hit of $4.7 million for one more year right now. He's under contract. He's 27 years old. He put up 28 goals this last year, right? Which in the NHL is nothing to scoff at.
Certainly not.
28 goals gets you paid $4.8, to, even up at $5 million a year. I mean, teams pay for that. Teams pay for an elite sniper who can operate on the power play, who can score on the power play, and has been consistent there. And a lot of people would go, Olofsson's a power play specialist, but metrics over last season would show you that his defensive game did improve. Sabres possession was better when he was on the ice. His expected goals for, which is a very fancy way to put it, is, how often are the Sabres expected to get scored on depending on their shot attempts against when he's on the ice. It was a better number for Olofsson than in years past. So I don't know. I guess the conversation I want to have is the Sabres are going to trade Olofsson. What are they looking to get for him?
Mm-hmm.
What can they get for him? And how are the Sabres going to replace those 28 goals? I think it's doable.
So I wanna bring something up. So
Okay.
Olofsson came to the Sabres, and he has been scoring relatively regularly, often on the power play.
Mm-hmm.
But since he came into the NHL, he's been a good goal scorer. He has, and I just wanted to share with you, Victor Olofsson, 28 goals last year, right? He played 75 games.
Power play goals were down.
We saw, yes, down, but he also was on the second unit for the majority of the year. He didn't have a lot of the same playing time he did the year before, to be fair. He played 75 games. We saw him in and out of the lineup in the final stretch, which, might make you believe, with Kevin Adams and Granado's thoughts of him are, if he's not in there when they're trying to make that potential playoff push. 28 goals, 75 games. Can I just share with you a couple of other 28 goal scorers around the league?
Mm-hmm.
Anze Kopitar, Anders Lee, Jonathan Marchessault, Marty Nashis,
Conn Smythe winner Jonathan
Joe
Marchessault.
Pavelski, Ricard Raquel, and guys who had 27, Alex DeBrincat, Logan Couture, Pierre-Luc Dubois, Jake DeBrusk,
So
Evgeny Malkin.
You're getting at.
So, with less games played, Olofsson outscored a lot of superstar players.
But do all of those players you just named, not all of them,
Yep.
almost all of them have a defensive, not do they have a defensive liability, but most of them have a defensive attribute that is above average.
Logan Couture, a center, a
That's
great
true.
great center, -30. Correct that the San Jose Sharks
suck.
not that great. Alex DeBrincat, Ottawa was not far behind the Sabres, not far at all in points at the end of the season. -31. Olofsson, -23. So I just want to say,
We're talking about when Joey says dash 23.
plus minus. I'm sorry.
It means plus minus, which means when you're on the ice, for those who are relatively new to hockey or want to learn, when you are on the ice, when a goal is scored against your team, unless you are shorthanded and you're on the ice, your team is shorthanded, you get a minus. Now, plus minus is not used nearly as much as it was back in the day because it's very, very, very relative.
And
There's
it can be
different-
skewed.
But
too.
it still does show in a very broad sense when you're on the ice for more of your goals. But it doesn't take into account who's on the ice against you,
Very true.
who you're on the ice with, your zone starts, if you're starting more shifts in the offensive zone, defensive zone. I just wanted to
very
say
true.
that about
So, I
plus
mean,
minus.
in essence, we could dive into stats all we want, but I just, like Tommy said, how are we going to replace those goals? 28 goals, that's a fair amount of goals.
Yeah, it
goals win games, and that's just simple.
in the
So,
regular season.
They do. Yeah. They win. Goals wins games always.
you do need to score more goals than the other team
That's
to win.
kind of the whole purpose of playing hockey.
Last I checked.
Yes. But anyways, I just want to, he's up there with some really good goal scorers, and maybe, in his mind, maybe a different look, different opportunity could be great for him. But I love Olofsson. I think he has a lot to bring to the team. I think he has a lot to contribute, and he's still young, and his game's great. But, if there's a lot of young players coming up from Rochester and our young guns, where the roster spots down the wing, pretty limited. So,
yeah, that's the big question is it's not whether or not Olofsson is, and this goes for just trades in general. We're not trying to say Olofsson's bad, not trying to say he's a detriment. We're not even saying that there's like an obvious need to trade him. But the question with trading any player is what replacement are you going to have, or replacements, and are they actually going to replace? Not only this trade needs to make the defensive aspect of a forward better, but you also need to replace 28 goals. So to replace 28 goals and make the defense better, that is not something you can just snap your fingers and have happen immediately. One or the other, that's doable. But to say I'm trying to get rid of one player to make my defense better and replace above league average scoring, that is not an easy trade to make. So that is kind of like the question of every trade is there an option? We're not going to make this trade just so that we can say we pulled the trigger on something. There has to be an option that really does fit the mold. And I'm not so sure that there is right off the top of the trading sheet. Saying like,
and I'm going to interject. I don't think that the trade option that they're going to be looking for is a one-on-one or one-for-one.
Sure.
I don't think it's going to be an Olofsson for a player to replace what we want instead of him. I think it's going to be to open up room for other players to fill that void.
But are the players coming up going to score 28 goals and not be defensive?
That's true. It's a good point.
So is Olofsson, and this is the question because the Sabres have recently been linked to trade rumors with Brett Pesce from the Hurricanes, which would be an awesome ad for the Sabres. But he's got another year left on his deal, and the extension talks for him would be hefty. I was going to say hefty as in like an 8-year deal, in the range of $6+ million a year for one of the statistically better pure defensive defensemen in today's NHL, which the Sabres need.
They do
about that. But if we talk power extension, Darlene extension, and Samuelson already extended, do we really want to have 4 long-term committed defensemen?
Well, also, I will say that Olofsson's not any trade that would possibly happen for Brett Pesce. Olofsson's not going to be included in that trade. The Hurricanes don't need Victor Olofsson.
Well, I mean, this year they could have used them. 3 of their best scorers went down.
Yes,
they did.
That's true. But
Olofsson would score 45 goals as a Hurricane.
You think so?
With their offense, 40 goals.
Man, maybe playing.
I think Brendan Moore, if we talk about what he's lacking defensively, I don't know if Rob Brendan Moore would like him out there in the D zone.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying
that trade doesn't make sense.
He would score a lot of goals there.
That doesn't make sense for Carolina. Olofsson would not be included in the deal for Brett Pesce to the Hurricanes. Could he be included in another deal for another NHL-ready defenseman right now to another team? Yeah, that's possible. But I think more, depending on the player, more would have to go the other way to whoever it is. I mean, the Sabres are kind of gearing into that timetable where they are in their organization and from their rebuild where they're almost getting ready to be able to pull the trigger on these higher ticket free agents that want to come to Buffalo now. They'll have more negotiation tactic in trades because they're not bottom feeders. They want to start winning a little bit. Mm-hmm. So I'm not exactly sure. Like when we get into our offseason deep dives, we're going to talk about the trade market a little bit more and actual options that are available. I wanted to keep the conversation more on Victor Olofsson specifically. And I mean, a lot of teams out there, would take 28 goals.
Yeah,
they would. And so here's a question. If the Sabres trade Olofsson, and it seems very likely that they will, they free up $4.8 million is the salary? Yeah, $4.7 million. They free up $4.7 million of cap unless they're bringing back cap for another player. But they lose 28 goals. That's a roster spot freed up. So who's going to replace with those goals? Are we going to see Jack Quinn continue to progress? I think the Sabres bank on, Quinn's going to score a few more. Peterka's going to score a few more. Tuck might even put in a couple more. Greenway, a full season with the Sabres, might do a little bit more. Cousins.
And let's not forget the surplus of wingers that we have. in the AHL and overseas. We've got some really good young talent, and I think that with this whole aspect of the Sabres moving towards playoffs and hopefully towards a championship in the next, handful of years, we're not just going to need the core group that we have now. We're going to need the players who are in the AHL or overseas or will be getting drafted this year. They're going to have to be contributors in this run as well. Mm-hmm. So I think that, looking at it from the outside, it might be as simple as, hey, we just signed back Kyle Okposo, so there's a winger spot in the bottom 6 that we know is going to be locked up. There's 3 spots for that, bottom 6 wingers-ish. We've got a lot of young talent, so it could just be to give some room for some guys to grow this next year.
Yeah, Zemgus Girgensons is the only. Well, the Sabres do not have a lot of free agents this offseason. They have a couple of restricted free agents and a couple of unrestricted free agents.
Hinostroza is one, right?
Hinney is a UFA. Tyson Jost and Cal Clegg are RFAs. And for those who want to know the difference between an unrestricted free agent and a restricted free agent, the layman's terms to put it is essentially when you're young and you sign your first contract, it's called an entry-level contract, which is, depending on your age, you receive the league minimum salary for it's typically what happens is 3 years. And then after that, when you're a restricted free agent, your team has the exclusive rights to work with you and sign you until you get to a certain age and amount of experience in the NHL, at which point eventually you're able to become an unrestricted free agent. When you're a restricted free agent, only the organization that has the rights to that player can sign him outright. If another team wants to take a stab at signing a restricted free agent, and you might ask, well, if you ever are looking at a restricted free agent list, there's superstars up and down restricted free agent lists every year. Teams can't pursue them without submitting an offer sheet. And depending on the player's salary that is being offered, depends on how much draft pick compensation the team that's making the offer has to send back to that team. So, for example, Tyson Jost is a restricted free agent this year for the Sabres. The Sabres have exclusive negotiating rights with Jost. Unless another team puts out an offer sheet to Jost, and let's say Jost's salary that they're offering him is $1.5 million. The compensation that team, let's say the Ducks, are trying to sign him would have to give the Sabres in order to do that is like a 3rd-round draft pick.
Yeah.
When a player is like $10 million plus, it's like 4 first-round draft picks.
So it does make a difference when you're UFA or RFA. It does make a difference. But so the Sabres, they're off season. Again, Tom said we are going to dive into that deeper.
Yeah.
But it's something to look at.
Girgensons was the one point that I wanted to make with that, and I went on a tangent. I'm sorry, but Girgensons was the one, like you said. Okposo got signed back. There's another roster spot.
Yep.
Girgensons is kind of the last core guy that we are wondering, is he going to return or not?
Yeah. I mean, and again, more we can talk about there on Girgensons. I loved him in the bottom 6. He's a guy with grit, passion, hard work every single night. So we'll see what they end up doing. But Olofsson, we might have something, as we move into the couple weeks. But Sabres talk, again, we are going to deep dive into their offseason, the draft, and what we think we want the roster to look like moving into October of next year.
Yeah.
But for Sabres talk, I think that's probably going to do it for today. And we are going to shift our focus to a team that is struggling a little bit.
Do we have any fun time game for Sabres?
I did. I have something that's interesting. I'll take one question off of it instead of getting too deep into it, because we do want to yell at the world about the Yankees.
Yeah, we have a lot of Yankees stuff to
the bulk of this is going to be Yankees.
Yeah.
Well,
at the end here.
So the only thing I'm going to do with the Sabres really quick is, do you guys have? You can rattle off the outdoor games that the Sabres have played.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, give it to me.
The first Winter
Classic 2008 at
Penguins.
At the time, Ralph Wilson. They lost in a shootout, 3-2.
Never forget Crosby scoring on Miller in that game.
And then the Sabres got an outdoor game against the Rangers at where was that game in 2018? It was in New York. It wasn't at the Yankee Stadium, was it?
Mm-mm. I don't think so.
It was in New Jersey. It was in New Jersey. I remember that. Anyway, they played the Rangers in the 2018.
And last year they played Toronto.
Winter Classic. 2 years ago. They played Toronto, not last year. 2 years ago in the Heritage Classic, I think it was.
Do you guys have the scores Yeah.
Okay.
That was gonna be the game.
All
That
right,
was gonna
ready?
be the game.
08 Winter Classic, the Sabres lose to the Penguins
3-2?
3-2 in a shootout.
Mm-hmm.
The 08 Winter Classic. I'm switching over. I thought you were going the other direction.
Sorry.
2-1.
Okay, 2018 Winter Classic, the Sabres lose to the Rangers 4-1.
Again, I switched to the other one again. The 2018 Winter Classic, the Sabres lose to the Rangers 3-2 in overtime.
I don't remember.
I don't remember that
No.
either.
It was at Citi Field.
Because the Sabres, they had to market the Sabres for that game, and all we had was Eichel.
Yeah.
They were like,
was
Jack
it.
Eichel's here.
And the Heritage
Rangers.
Classic 2022, March 13th.
5-2 win, right?
5-2 win
Yeah.
over the Leafs.
I do
yeah.
remember that.
Yep.
Because
Yeah.
Dylan Cousins was
Tomer-
outside the glass.
Was it
jumping
Tomer
up
who
and
laid
down.
out Matthews in that game, or was it Cousins? Or Dahlin? So one of those three.
I
I
remember
just named
Matthews
because they
getting
showed
bundled.
clips of it the last year when the Sabres played the
yeah.
the Leafs. They showed clips of it.
All right, that was cool. Best jersey out of all those games because they are literally almost all the same.
Yeah, they're all
Sabres
the same.
Never did
the best
something
jersey
cool.
in all those
The
games
best
is
jersey
the
of the game was the
Penguins.
Penguins' first
Yes.
Winter Classic.
I was talking-
powder
Yeah, I
blue.
know you were, but
Yeah.
that's how bad the Sabres jerseys have been. So the Penguins is the best Sabres
They're
jersey.
not great. Didn't they
Yeah,
wear
no,
the
you're right.
disgusting yellow and like the blue?
Well, the Sabres' third jersey back in the day?
Oh, yeah, the
Is
awful.
that what you're
They
talking about?
didn't wear that.
No.
They
No,
they
didn't.
wore a white.
They
3
would
times, right?
never be
Yeah.
offered in
Future
outdoor game
episode,
again.
we might want to talk best and worst Sabres jerseys of all time.
Oh,
Now, Joey, do you have to pee?
Joey's got to go.
If you don't have to
Joey's
go,
gotta
we can
go.
use that later.
No, I do.
Okay, Tommy.
this is the official Joey P segment. We're tentatively calling it Joey's Got to Go.
I'm 100% out on that. I do not like that name.
Well, it's the name right now.
3, 2, 1, go.
There goes Joey.
Tommy, name as many cheeses as you can. Go.
Cheeses?
Cheeses, go.
Parmesan. Joey just... All right, Parmesan, cheddar, pepper jack, Romano, Swiss, Gouda, Farm Fresh.
Nope, that's not it. You're at 6. I've got a list of every cheese.
American.
Sure,
Provolone.
7.
Did I say provolone?
I don't know.
Provolone.
I think you might have. 7.5.
Swiss. I
Nope,
already said
said that.
Swiss.
I should have been marking these.
Ear cheese. Ear? Does that count?
No, it does not.
That's a cheese. Foot
It is a
cheese.
cheese.
Toe cheese.
You're losing it. You have 7, maybe 7.5.
Yankees Fancies.
You are not doing great.
I'm
I'm gonna start naming them
Cheddar.
from the top of my head. Asa-
mozzarella.
blue,
Oh,
blue cheese. Is a
blues
good one.
is good.
Brie, cheddar. You said
I
cheddar.
said cheddar.
Colby
Oh,
Jack,
That's good.
Colby John. No, that's not a real one.
Joey's back.
Joey, name a cheese that starts with the letter G.
Gruyere.
Name another one.
Wow.
Gouda.
All right, name one that starts with L. I have a list of every cheese.
Joey's a cook, by the way. This is unfair. I named all the hits.
All right, name one that starts with H. You're a fake cheese guy.
Havarti.
How do you know that?
Nice job.
Name
Joe.
one that starts with P that's not pepper jack, provolone, or parmesan.
What else
I
is
have
it?
Pepper
one.
jack, Parmesan, provolone.
If you get this, I'll do a backflip.
It's poop cheese.
Poop cheese.
I don't know. What is it?
Paneer.
I didn't know that was a cheese.
All right, that's all the cheeses that we
I
said.
said Yankees Fancies.
Those not. There's a lot more
Yankees
cheeses.
Fancies is a brand.
I know.
No free ads.
All right.
Um,
Moving on.
did he
That
say
was-
Camembert?
No,
Bro,
That's my favorite cheese.
who
No
knows
one-
what Camembert
That's a made-up
It's a
word.
cave ripened cheese.
I don't
Do you
have
like
it on my
brie?
list. Oh yeah, I do.
Like brie cheese?
Fresh
Yeah,
Camembert
like on a
cheese
cracker.
is a
Camembert
bland.
and brie
har-
are like cousins.
Fresh Camembert cheese is a bland, hard, and crumbly. Is bland, hard, and crumbly, but becomes smoother with a runny interior as it ages. It has a rich, buttery flavor with a rind that's meant to be eaten.
on a rich buttery
Buttery,
flaky
flaky
crust.
crust.
No,
Shout out that
George.
couple.
It's
All
supposed
right.
to be buttery flaky crust.
One of the greatest
What did I
videos
say?
of all time. If you have never seen it, pull out your smartphone or tablet or whatever you're listening or watching on and check out the video of the commercial of the old couple. And it is classic, trying to say buttery,
It is
flaky
classic.
crust.
Also,
It is
check out
all
our
time.
TikTok is up and running just as a emitting promo because I can imagine that our TikTok editor will take that cheese segment and post the cheese segment. And then anyone who doesn't know our podcast will see it and think we're like a food podcast, and they'll come check us out when we're just about balls and pucks.
Are they going to clip in any Charlie Kelly?
That would be funny.
What is this enticing bowl
I'm
of
sorry.
white?
I'm sorry. I couldn't help myself.
So Sabres talk, I think that's it for that, and that's it for the cheese talk.
Is done.
So speaking of cheese, we are transitioning into the land that has more lobsters than cheese. Boston Red Sox
What was that?
taking the full 3-game sweep against our beloved New York Yankees. And the
so
Yankees,
sad.
I will just say this. We can dive into our specifics. It does not feel good in Yankee land right now. It doesn't feel good. And I think Tommy's expressive yell, scream, moan just shows where we're at right now.
So here's a story. I'm a drummer, for those who don't know. And I tell this story sometimes to students. This will be very quick. Sometimes when you're drumming, you keep the snare drum down about near your knees, maybe a little bit above your knees, right? So one time I was playing a show in Jamestown, and growing up, I played in like hard, heavy metal bands and stuff like that, right? So I was playing, and I'd come down, I hit the snare, and it was, again, dangerously close to your knees and your thighs and whatever. So in this particular show, every time I came down and I hit the snare, which is very often, I would punch myself in the thigh, okay? I'd hit myself in the thigh really hard.
On purpose?
No.
Okay.
I'm hitting the snare, and boom, I hit because it was just, I don't know why. Maybe I just didn't set it up like I normally do. Anyway, after the show was done, I was tearing down my drums, and after a little bit, my leg really started hurting, and I looked at my thigh, and I had this huge bruise on my thigh.
Compare it to a fruit.
In size or like
In size.
circumference?
In size.
No, it wasn't.
Circumference of your bruise?
It wasn't
You're
very.
talking about like raised. I'm not saying
No.
how wide was it?
Oh, like
what kind of fruit could you fit on top of it?
like, I don't know, a cantaloupe.
No way. Your leg's not even that big.
It was like.
There's no shot you had a cantaloupe bruise.
No,
a cantaloupe
it
bruise.
was
Bruiselope?
It was enormous. It was enormous. It was a bruiselope.
I'm bringing in a cantaloupe and putting it against your leg.
I
It's
know.
bigger
Seriously,
than your
it was
leg.
a huge bruise.
All
It
right,
was
continue.
huge.
Continue.
So I beat myself up all night. The New York Yankees are just beating the ever-living crap out of themselves night in and night out because they have a laundry list of players underperforming. And I don't know if Aaron Judge's presence or not having his presence on the field right now is truly that much of a difference. But the Yankees, like I did back in the day, hitting myself over and over again, the Yankees are hitting themselves over and over again by consistently rolling out the same group of duds and not making any adjustments. There has to be some adjustment to be made. And I know that Boone has the cards that he has. And Joey, you said that last episode. And what is Aaron Boone supposed to do? Nothing. Those are the cards that he has. So I'm looking at the front office. I'm calling out the front office right now. Brian Cashman and co. If I was Hal Steinbrenner, if I was Hal Steinbrenner, and I just watched my $280 million payroll team that I know some is on the injured list, I understand that, get swept by the last place Boston Red Sox, your arch rival for 130,000 years at Fenway Park in the middle of a race, I would be on the horn right now telling Cashman, Cash, you either demote somebody, you make a trade tonight, or your bald head is gonzo.
A team that was, before this 3-game set, below 500, and now a team that is only 2 games back of the Yankees.
I'm going to interject a voice. I was going to say a voice of reason, but that was a reasonable tone, Joey.
Thank
Jacob,
you.
I'm mad.
I understand that you're mad. I think that yelling for Cashman's head, as good as it feels, is not a productive conversation.
Not at all.
It's not, and it's not even worth saying it should happen because the chances of it happening are, and I'm not disagreeing with you in any way. The chances of anything like that happening are not slim. They're 0. Right. I'm not saying that
I'm not calling for Brian Cashman to be fired. Well, I kind of am. But he won't.
Right.
They shouldn't have extended him for 4 years.
The point is,
my point was a move should be made. If I was Steinbrenner, that was my point. But continue.
yeah. And
You got hot, Tom.
You got hot.
You got
We
real
just got
hot.
swept by the Boston Red Sox.
And no, I
You got
respect
hot.
the heat. What I'm saying is, if we're gonna get heated, maybe there's other people that are actually actively doing something bad. And I understand. Look at the history. The last 5 years of Cashman's moves. There's been a lot of low-level moves that have been fantastic, and a lot of high-level moves that have not been great. And that's kind of been the MO for a while for Cashman, is that under the radar, a lot of the bottom half of your war-creating guys have been great moves. And when there's a big move to be made, whether it's a signing or a trade, those have fallen flat. So I think if we're going to yell, which I'm happy to do as well, because off air we all yell, there are people that we want to be great players and we love and have loved for years that we should be yelling at. We'll start offensively. And I think we can go right down the lineup. Tonight's lineup, Jake Bauers at leadoff. He's been great. After that, our next 3 or 4 guys have just been painful. Painful
Can
to
we
watch.
recall in great Yankees teams and great Yankees eras, and we talked about this a bit last week, but how important a leadoff hitter is?
Yeah, I know.
And no offense to Jake Bauers. He has been very good. He has.
A couple
His
doubles
numbers are good.
in the first game
His
today.
at-bats look good. He's in there. He's working long counts. He's taking great swings. But if you told me that Jake Bauers was going to be our leadoff hitting
leadoff
left
hitter,
fielder
yeah.
in the middle of June, I would laugh and say, no way. No way.
Well, I
the
mean,
lineup is tough. It really is tough.
It hurts.
There's no other way around it. And like I said before, I am not a Boone critic. I think the numbers speak for themselves. The players respect him a lot. He is an incredible manager. But when you get dealt this lineup over and over again, like Tommy said, there's only so much you can do. You know, there's really only so much you can do. But what Tommy said in the beginning of his rant before he got really hot, even with Judge in this lineup, I don't think that they'd be winning baseball games. There's a point in last season that Judge literally put the Yankees on his back and carried the team for almost a full month. I don't think he could do that right now, even at his best.
I'm going to jump in and say I'm going to disagree with you because this year he has already. The Yankees with Judge this year are the Yankees that the record was showing. Almost the top of the league, except for the unbelievable Tampa Bay Rays. With Judge this year, the Yankees have been fantastic, and he's carried them an almost unprecedented amount. Without Judge this year, before today, in which they scored a total of 3 runs today, correct? 2 runs in the first game and 1 in the second game?
In 2 games, yeah.
In 2 games. They were the worst batting average in MLB without Aaron Judge in the lineup, and the second worst OPS, on base plus slugging, which after today, I guarantee they're last in that as well.
I know that the Yankees are, since the Judge injury, maybe even before, but I know since the Judge injury, the Yankees are second to last only to the Royals, Kansas City Royals, in on-base percentage. Did you just say that?
OPS, and yes. And
you said OPS.
Yeah, also on base.
Yeah. I know that they're dead last, and the Kansas City Royals are 18 and 50 something.
Yeah, it's bad. But the Yankees have been playing at that rate, almost at that rate for the last 2 weeks.
Since Judge got hurt, we're 4 and 8 or something like that. 3 and 8 since Judge got hurt.
1, 2,
since
3,
he lost his big toe.
3 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 3 and 9.
Judge's big toe just popped off his foot and just ran away.
Aaron Boone said it's an average size, a reasonable size toe. That can't be true.
There's nothing about that man that's reasonable sized.
You know what's...
No. So anyways, let's look at... if we're staying at this offense, let's take a productive look at this offense.
Mm-hmm.
Gleyber Torres has been fair.
One of the bright spots in a mountain of poop.
In his OPS, I love OPS. That's my go-to offensive stat. If we're not getting advanced, BABIP, xWOBA, there's a lot of other things, but
no, go ahead. I'm sorry. You looked at me like I was going to say something and I wanted to, but I disregarded myself. So go.
Okay. If we're looking at OPS, on base percentage plus slugging, the amount you get on base plus the amount that you hit doubles, triples, and home runs. Gleyber Torres, of the healthy players, or of the qualified players rather, is 4th on the team. The players above him, 2 of them are Aaron Judge and Harrison Bader,
who are injured,
who are not. And Harrison Bader is not a career offensive player.
No, and he's only got 90 plate appearances. So,
and the other player is Anthony Rizzo, who's only in that position because of his hot home run lead in April. So OPS, how much you get on base, how much you hit the ball really far, which is one of my favorite stats. The Yankees are miserable, an absolute miserable. It's not pretty at all. We have people in the 5 and 600s over and over again, which are just significantly below league average. We have 4 above league average players. 2 of them are Bader and Judge. It's just not enough. That's the roster. It's not surprising. The Yankees are not playing below what they're expected to be playing this year. They're winning the amount of games that they should be winning based on how they're playing. Mm-hmm. They're not losing games they should be winning. They're losing because they're bad.
The bottom line, I love getting into the statistics. OBP, looking at on-base percentage right now, there are alarming numbers for on-base percentage for some of these players that normally are much higher. We had a discussion about DJ LeMahieu last episode a little bit. LeMahieu rocking a .291 on-base percentage is tough. And on-base percentage, for those who don't know, that is hits plus, it's like your average plus walks. It's when you get on base. It does not include errors, stuff like that.
How much you get on base, yeah.
Correct. So a 2-9, like Aaron Judge's is a 404, which is superhuman. But even if you want to go older school and look at averages, and the fact that Josh Donaldson, even with 53 at-bats, is hitting 151. He has 8 hits this year, and 6 of them are home runs. He has not been hitting the ball. He makes a lot of money for not hitting the ball. And I know that I'm not going to go like a crazy Yankee fan, like, demote him, send him to AAA, trade him. It's not that easy. That's not going to happen. I understand that. But this is the hand that Boone was dealt, and that we could go all the way back to 2021 with the Donaldson trade, but we won't. But the other names, Stanton, who we adore. If you hate Stanton, you're wrong. I mean, it's okay to hate him right now.
He's been bad for a while.
It's okay.
We know he's bad post-injury.
Yeah, but
I know it's been a while.
It's getting to the point where you can't really say that anymore. He's been off the IL today was like his 11th game, 10th and 11th games, or 11th and 12th games off the IL.
Stanton's actually, besides the playoffs, been bad since June of last year.
Yeah, but we know Stanton has unlike maybe Donaldson, where we could say, okay, he's actually past his prime, the tank is empty. We know Stanton has the ability to flip the switch and become one of the best hitters in baseball when he's hot.
Well, we haven't seen it. We hope to see it.
Right. Maybe that conversation is now with Stanton, as it is with Donaldson. Maybe it is with LeMahieu. But you know what, guys? Like, the beginning of my rant there, like, the whole... Like, if I was Hal and I spent all this money, imagine if you spent $280 million on a product, and your arch nemesis, who's spending less than you, who's beneath you in the standings, you go into their building and you get swept out. You lose 15-5. That game was an embarrassment. Defensively, offensively, from a managerial stand, it was an embarrassment. And I think that when I say, if I'm Hal, I'm telling Cash to make a move to shake things up, I'm not saying he has to build a whole new team overnight. I'm saying something. Send somebody down with options, even if it takes, so you're not DFAing a guy. Make a minor trade.
I got to interject. The players that you can send down who have options are the only players who are hitting. McKinney, Bowers, kind of Calhoun. Cabrera's not hitting. But the players who aren't hitting are the guys who you don't have any options, who have the most money and the least flexibility. That's who aren't hitting.
I understand. And I know that what I'm saying, honestly, is not going to happen. It's not going to happen. The Yankees are going to ride this out. They take June very lightly. This is their recovery month. They're waiting for Judge and Bader to get back.
Bader's back Tuesday.
Rodon is close. The Yankees and their thought process right now is, and I'm telling this to everybody, and this is true, let's stay afloat in the wild card race until the big boys are back. And then once the big boys are back, we should be perfectly fine.
What big boys? You have Aaron Judge,
Bader, Rodon. And Cortez is still in the IL.
Bader is not a history of his
Bader's
career
been
is not
hitting.
A big boy.
Know, Bader's been hitting this year, but he's not the guy. He's not Judge. He's not a Rizzo that we expect to come. And, it's...
Defensively, I think... we all know Harrison Bader is one of, if not, the best defensive center fielder
for sure, but
in the game.
Yes. True.
I know we're talking about offense, but Bader, regardless, Bader is a proven major league hitter.
He will help. He will absolutely
He
help.
elongates the lineup.
Is
that a word?
Elongate.
He elongates the lineup.
He will help. I am not arguing that.
He
is not the answer to going from getting swept by the Red Sox to winning the World Series, and that's too big of a gap.
Another thing here is just like, was there any heart? Has there been any heart on display? Has there been like we talk about like how Boone has dealt what he's dealt, and that's totally fine, but these are all major league ball players. They're all grown men. I mean, baseball is a sport of up and down, hot and cold. It happens to everybody. Only the elite of the elite are able to stay like hot to warm all the time. And those are the best teams and the best players in history. But even the best players in history in baseball all go through cold streaks.
I think what you're saying about Hart, Tom, I was watching the game today, and they were interviewing Michael King in the dugout. And cool interview. His dad was up there with the broadcasters. Really neat. The inning was going on, and, at first the Yanks were on the field, so not too many guys in the dugout, but he was in the dugout getting interviewed when they were at bat, too. There was no life. They were down a run. There was no life in the Yankee dugout. None. Do you think that makes... Is that it? Is that it?
Where do the vibes come from?
I don't know.
Where are they going to come from? Judge?
That's what it's been for almost 5 years.
But he's in that dugout, and do you need him on the field performing to get going? That's
the Yankees team we've seen.
Well, then Aaron Judge as a captain, obviously, to throw more weight on his shoulders, they need to be able to have a spark. No matter what, they have to have a spark.
That's what I'm saying. Like, remember last year when bad times really hit in August, and we eventually, like, Cashman heard the noise to the point where he called up Florial, which I want to get a discussion with him really quick. That was another point with the Yanks. And he called up Florial and Cabrera, and it didn't turn us back into contenders overnight, but it did give us a little juice. It got fans. It let fans know, and it let maybe the clubhouse know that, you know what, guys, you are performing bad, and we need to make a couple of moves. And to Jacob's point, who can you call up? Who can you send down? The options are really limited.
The guys you want to call up are up. They're already up.
Except for Peraza and
there's no
Florial. And let's talk really quick about Florial.
All right, you give yours, I'll give mine.
Okay. Joey mentioned last episode when we were talking about the Yankees offense, and this is an ongoing conversation with the offense that it's gonna happen every single episode, it seems, until they start hitting collectively. Joey brought up a great point about a lack of left-handed hitters that produce consistently on the Yankees. And I know right now Bowers has been hitting. McKinney's been hitting. He was on a hitting streak. I think it cracked today, but
he did. Yeah, he got one in the second game.
And obviously we have Rizzo, but like Joey said last episode, lefties that are going to be in the starting lineup in Game 1 of the playoffs, there's one, and it's Anthony Rizzo. Jacob, you said that's one. Joey mentioned that. I'm going back and forth. That the lefties you want, we don't have. So, and Joey also talked about how the Yankees don't have a left fielder. So here's my question for you two, okay? I thought about this the other day and before I was sleeping, because I don't know about you guys, but when I think of stuff when I'm trying to fall asleep, it makes me help me fall asleep faster. Like when I'm laying in bed and I want to fall asleep fast, I just start thinking of something in my head, like having a conversation with myself or thinking of something, and then no, not you guys.
That keeps me up at night.
When I think of something, I continue to think about it.
It puts me to sleep.
I actually try to visualize like a black blanket being put over a light.
Interesting.
And that helps. Like, there's nothing.
Okay.
There's nothing.
I have a conversation
completely
with myself,
opposite.
Essentially, and then I
well at night you were thinking, Tom?
Estevan Florial right now. I wanted to get his stats up, and I was a little too late on that.
I've got some. What are you looking at?
Just his baseline stats. I know he right now is absolutely destroying the cover off the ball in AAA. And Florial has been given opportunity at the major league level. In theory, Florial is quite literally exactly what the Yankees need on their team. A left-handed hitting.
If his play can transition completely from AAA to the MLB.
I'm saying, in theory, if you told a Yankee fan, hey, Yankees fans know that they need a left fielder, a left-handed hitting left fielder generally, who can play defense and has elite speed and is killing. If I said, hey, There is actually a left-handed hitting left fielder, center fielder really, hitting the cover off the ball right now with elite speed and elite defense, and he's in the minors. We should probably call him up, right? Because that's what the Yankees need. Yeah, you'd think so. However, Florial in years past has never been able to hit at the major league level. Jacob kind of said it last episode. We didn't really talk about it. So here's my question to you guys. Do the Yankees either A, make that quote-unquote drastic move by giving Estevan Florial a shot right now, and that would mean a corresponding move down. So I don't know if that's Cabrera, whatever, but that's another, we need outfielders. Do they give him another shot? Knowing that they can't option him back down, he'd have to be DFA'd, correct, Jacob?
Correct, yeah.
And knowing...
Or do they continue to let him kill it in AAA and use him as a trade piece come the deadline?
I hate to be the negative Nancy. Neither are that, in my opinion, neither are that plausible or that beneficial. He has a 1.049 OPS in AAA, which is excellent. That would be, in the majors, that would be a top 5 player. Obviously, it's not the majors. There are players who have 1.0 in AAA, who have major league experience, who have proven themselves, who have far less value than you're saying he might have. I don't think there's much of any. I don't think this is that big of a conversation. He's failed at the major league level for 3 years.
Like, if I think if you were to show us his stat line and go, full locked character in a video game, can't see him, completely blurred out, blacked out, can't see it. If we saw the stat line right now in AAA with no name, no picture, we'd say, outfielder, fast, left-handed, super good on the bases, super good in the outfield. Yeah, we need that. We've seen Florial. We've seen a decent amount of Florial. And he not only can't hit at the major league level, at times it was bad. It was bad.
He's never been giving a large sample size?
No, I'm jumping in.
But how many small sample sizes does it take to get a
He
good
only
idea?
has 63 MLB appearances in his career.
Yeah, 2022.
Plate appearances.
2022.
Not game appearances, plate appearances.
31 at-bats last year, 2022. He hit under 100. he had 3
small
hits.
sample size.
He had 3 hits in 31 at-bats. The previous year, he had 6 hits in 20 at-bats. And then he appeared in one game in 2020. But when you look at, at some point, you guys, the stats cannot be ignored, right? Guys, he's got 214 at-bats. He's hitting 304 with a 395 and like Jacob said, he's 1-dotting. He's got 18 home runs in AAA this year. At some point...
See, I'm not on the same page as you because I'll tell you why, if you let me say it.
No.
No, what I mean is...
I'm just kidding.
This is not easy to hear because here's what I'm going to say. Oswald Peraza has not quite a 1-dot, but has a very good slash line in AAA. Mm-hmm. There is the 3 outfielders that you would option to get Estevan Florial on the team are 3 of our best hitters right now. If you look at... Well, Calhoun's cooled down, but Bowers, McKinney...
Can Bowers be optioned?
Bowers?
Yeah, they called him
out
up.
of options.
I don't think... No, they brought him out.
I think Bowers had options.
I know Calhoun is.
So, maybe Bowers doesn't. Either way, the 3 outfielders that you would get rid of are actually hitting for Florial. And my counter is if the players who are hitting the least, LeMahieu and Donaldson, are playing third base, if you are going to make a move based on AAA stats... it would be Peraza for one of those 2 guys and not Florial for our only hitters right now. Obviously, that's not going to happen because of money, because of experience.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. But I don't think you can argue ignoring numbers when they're ignoring numbers in a position that's of way more need.
Jacob, the position in need right now is the outfield.
Not offensively. Offensively, their position of need are third base, primarily third base and shortstop, and DH.
How about defensively too, Jacob? Jake Bowers, IKF, Willie Calhoun are getting everyday reps in the outfield. Jake Bowers was completely overmatched in the outfield at Fenway Park. He was completely overmatched. You said it yourself the other day, the porch job, or last week against the White Sox. Willie Calhoun's playing right field in Yankee Stadium. He's not tall enough to even stand on a step stool and then jump and then go on to another step stool and then, like Mario on the bricks, and bloop, 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 and make a catch. And I love Willie, but he's not even, he is not an outfielder. So Florial has elite speed. He's an elite defender. So even for that regard, and not to mention that he's killing it in AAA, I understand your point completely. And I agree with the Peraza point too, but the Yankees have an influx of infielders right now and designated hitters, and none of them are performing. Donaldson, LeMahieu, Volpe, none of them are performing. But if we were to make a move, I mean, I am not based on the sample sizes that Florial's got, which isn't a lot. We say he hasn't hit at the major league level yet, and that's true. But the sample size, maybe it hasn't been big enough, you guys. Maybe he hasn't gotten enough run. And what better time to give a guy who's destroying AAA right now a chance than right now?
So
we just got swept by Boston.
The only reason I disagree with you, and I will say this, is that you talk to Cashman, you've seen Cashman's, you've seen Boone. When they get asked, what's going on? How are you guys going to get out of this rough patch? Over and over again, hey, we're getting our guys back. We're going to get our guys back. We're getting our guys back. I think they're going to try to just get Judge back, get Bader back, get healthy, and figure things out. I really do. So
That's
it would
what
be.
I said. That's
I
what
don't
I said.
know.
The Yankees are taking June as a recovery month, and they're trying to float.
Yeah.
Until after the All-Star break.
But if you look at the roster and what you're gonna want to do come playoffs or a playoff push or a wild card push, if we're gonna be there, we very realistically are gonna be in a wild card hunt probably based on how the division looks right now. Then you know what, Tom? You've won me over, man. Why not? We need a spark. Why
Let's
not?
go. Call him up.
Why not? And if he comes up and he bats 100, well. There you go.
No
what
worse
worth is
than
he anyways?
How a lot of other players are hitting right now.
Yeah.
Can it be any worse?
It can be worse.
It can be worse.
It can
I
be
guess
worse.
It could be worse.
We're not the Royals,
I mean, guys.
but it's not great in
they
Yankee
smart,
land.
man.
There's way more negative than there is
See,
positive.
I think
right
you
now.
guys are also missing the what seems to be obvious, that the Yankees do not like having Estevan Florial on their team. If they wanted him on the team, he would be on the team. They had no reason to have Calhoun, Bowers, McKinney, Franchi Cordero, Oswald Cabrera all above him on the depth chart. If they wanted him, he would be on the team. So it's not going to happen.
No, it probably won't happen. And I guess that was the other question. I guess we'll just end it here. And I suppose, Jacob, the answer to my question was, and Joey answered it too, do you give him another shot, or do you continue to let him rake and maybe use him as a trade piece? And can he be a trade piece?
No one cares.
I mean, but Jacob, no. Yes, they do. A team that is out of the playoff race is going to take a shot on a guy that's destroying AAA that hasn't had that much experience at the MLB.
Potentially, but a team out of the playoff race isn't looking to trade for a player who's almost off of their contract, who, if they pull him to the majors, he has a couple months to be above average for a below average team. Like that's not the trade. That's not the value.
Florial's 25 years old.
Yeah.
That means he only has 2 years left, including this year.
I'm just saying. I think the Yankees, if they're not going to call him up, then they're better off just hopefully he can continue to rake. And I think because if they're never going to call him up, never going to give him another shot, they might as well try to move him. They might as well try.
We have another off day tomorrow, right?
Off day tomorrow. Yankees don't play on Monday in June.
Tomorrow being Monday.
And
we're
then
recording on Sunday.
And Yankees take on Seattle.
Hopefully, by the time we
so.
record next, we're only going to have 1.5 games played. By the time we record, I do hope that we hear something. I do. I hope that it's not dead silent, because the Yankees have to be shaken up after this.
Besides Bader coming
No,
back.
that's what their move is.
What's
something.
the corresponding move to Bader, by the way? What's the move going to be? Is it
In my
Cabrera.
opinion,
it's Cabrera, because he has options.
yes, very much.
I
so.
don't
Or Calhoun.
Do you think they're going to finally pull the trigger?
He hasn't played.
He didn't play in either of the doubleheader games
I think it's
today.
Calhoun.
Yeah. Cabrera's versatile.
Yeah,
Calhoun is a
Cabrera's
DH or a very minimal outfielder.
But Cabrera can play outfield. He
can.
even played center field in in spring training.
You remember watching him play in playoffs?
I remember Cabrera, playing left field. You guys were at Game 3.
Game
Was it?
3.
No, Game 4. No, Game 3.
It was Game 3.
Game 3. You guys were in Cleveland for Game 3. I was at a hockey tournament. I couldn't come.
We're talking of the ALDS.
ALDS last season.
Cabrera
Funny
was
story,
playing
we
left
actually accidentally had tickets to Game 4, Jacob. Bought the wrong night's ticket, so we had to figure out anyways what we were going to do. But, yeah, Yankees, I don't know. Maybe we'll see something between now and when we talk next. But it's not looking hot, boys. It's not looking hot in Yankee land. And I hope that there's brighter topics that we have in the next couple episodes. Because since we started this podcast, which hasn't been that long, it has been negative Yankee talk over and over again.
Yeah, the only positive Yankee talk we've had is the bullpen,
Yeah.
which got roughed up in
Yep.
Boston. And but you know what? Eventually, only so much duct tape can hold the cracks of the dam together before it starts bursting together. And the
Not going to do great underwater.
Was that
no,
Robert Frost? That was beautiful.
that was actually Edgar Allan Poe.
Okay.
Just not true.
Not it.
And anyway, but yeah, the bullpen has been literal like duct tape over bullet holes for the Yankees, and eventually it's just not going to keep it together, and it finally broke. The dam finally broke in Boston.
If you're a human being, all of these bullpen pitchers are human beings. They have to know. I know they're professionals. I know. But they have to know going in that they have to be so perfect because the mental strain, and then once one of their fellow bullpenners lets up a run or two, the ability to easily lose the energy or the fight has to be real. That these pitchers come in and be like, can't be energized. Going in knowing that your team's going to score 1 or 2 runs,
That's the problem.
They're human beings. It has to be taking a toll.
That's the problem. When you know, like, I have to be perfect or else we're not going to win because we can't score. So, anyway.
Well, I have something quickly to
let's
close
do
us
something
out.
quick.
So,
Let's be fun times because it's so I hate talking negative on the Yanks. So let's wrap it up with some fun time. Go Yankee, and go Yankee.
Go Yankee.
Yankee
Just the
Doodle
one.
Dandy put a feather in
Careful,
his butt
copyright.
and called it macaron.
So, no one owns that. So here's the setup. This I am holding in my hand is a game called Pitch. It is a New York Yankees
That
trivia
was invented
game.
in the 60s.
This was released in 1987. This was released.
Pitch.
I was asked to give a shout out. You can buy us if you'd like. You can give us things and we'll shout you out. This was given to me by Nick Spitzer, who is a fantastic local baseball coach. His grandmother.
Did he win MVP?
Suck up.
Did he win an MVP for baseball coach? Because you did.
I gave myself an MVP.
Jacob
He gave it to one of his players.
But continue.
So, anyways, this was given to him by his mother and then passed on to me.
Pretty cool.
Which is pretty cool. So this is a Yankees trivia game from 1987, so there are no answers past 1987.
Wonderful.
So just so you know, we were all young and not alive in 1987.
Young, none of us were alive.
Obviously, it was.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to go random
I was
on you.
-8.
Okay.
I'm going random on you. But I'm going
Babe
to ask,
Ruth.
It's going to be, that was the answer.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
On my life.
What was the card?
I don't know, I put it away.
I'm 1 for 1. Keep track.
That's just
All
that
right.
doesn't count. My
All
turn.
right, here
Mickey
we go.
Mantle.
I'm going to take
Shut up,
one
Joey.
that
2 for 2.
is,
Shut up, you loser.
ooh, this is fun. This is fun.
I beat you in pickleball earlier.
This Yankee outfielder won his 3rd most valuable player in 1962. Who is it? 3rd in 1962.
Mickey Mantle.
It is Mickey Mantle.
I just said that.
Yeah, that's
You
why I
didn't.
picked it. I thought that was funny.
I get the
I'm-
point. 1-0.
I'm 2
Tommy.
for 2.
Nope. 1-0.
In
1
1980,
nothing.
Yeah, you didn't get the first one. That was a stupid question.
in 1985,
Question.
this Yankee pitcher won 13 straight games.
Ooh.
Ron the Gator Guidry.
Ron the Gator Guidry is correct.
Woo! 2-0. Joey sucks.
Joey's horrible this game. In 1937, this Yankee slugger set a major league record by hitting 15 home runs in the month of July. Goodness gracious.
Does it say goodness
1937.
gracious
No,
on the card?
it does not.
That
That'd be
seems
cool, though.
very 80s.
1937, 15 homers in the month of July.
Well, 37, I'm just going to take a stab at some of the greats. I'd like to say, I'll go with Gehrig.
No, I think that was passed.
Joe DiMaggio?
Joe DiMaggio.
That
All
was
right.
like the other option.
What do you think?
I
Like
know,
2
or
more?
Yogi.
1 or 2 more?
One more.
One more. Let's wrap this
Last
up.
one?
Since
It's
Tommy and I are tied.
We're recording a Media One radio group, by the way, in Jamestown, and I'll have to be back here in about 8 hours
For work, yeah.
So.
All right, here we go. This
No,
Yankee
10 hours.
slugger was named the most valuable player in the 1977 World Series?
MVP in 77.
Mm-hmm.
Of the World Series MVP.
World Series MVP.
In 77. Greg Nettles.
No. Easier. One of the biggest, if not the biggest Yankees 70s.
77.
Like if Yankees 70 hitter.
Oh.
Thurman Munson.
Reggie Jackson.
The other one. Yes, Reggie Jackson.
Oh.
I guess.
Oh, yeah, duh. Jackson.
77.
I don't
Munson
know.
was-
Would you say Jackson or Munson? Who's the
playing in
bigger?
77?
Yeah. Who's the more 70s name? Jackson or
Jackson.
Munson?
I mean, Reggie
Well,
Jackson.
Mr. October.
I don't know. Yeah, I would agree.
All right.
Anyways, that was Yankees trivia.
It was
Pitch by officially licensed game. Oh, it's an actual MLB game from 1987.
Well, so like Jacob said, if you want us to give you a shout out, buy us something.
Yep.
Send us something.
Yep.
And be sure to follow us on all of our social medias. And please feel free to send us an email. The email that we have and operate is very easy to remember. It is the words 2balls1puck @gmail.com. So if you want to chat, you have comments, concerns, if you want to tell Tommy that he stinks at pickleball even though he says he's fantastic,
I mean, I beat the crap out of you.
or
Literally
if you
11
want to
1.
go
were
back,
left-handed.
a couple episodes and check out who has the best hair, we asked about that. Or if you just want to chat and say hi, we'd love to hear anything you have to say about us, and we'd love to say hi to you guys. So follow us on the socials, check out our posts, releases, and interact. Say hi.
All right, it's late. I think we're ready to wrap this up. Thanks, everybody. Yeah, until next one.
Joey and I ate 6 packs of gummies tonight.
Absolutely absurd. I didn't eat one. I said no more eating on the pod, but they just don't give.
I think we were
craps.
better about the wrappers.
Yeah,
which,
we opened them
The
under the
wrappers is
Joey,
the big thing.
One more, last line of the show. One more bizarre cheese that nobody knows.
Fontanella.